Hi there guys, my name is Aaron and you can learn, make and create together with me in Adobe Photoshop. Today I'm going to show you how you can edit a portrait step by step using only 3 actions. So without any further ado, let's get started. So here we are in Adobe Photoshop, and as you can see that this portrait is looking really good, but we need to make some changes here and there. And first thing first, what I'm going to do into this portrait is that I'm going to clean. But before we dive in today's video tutorial, please don't forget to check all the links down in the description, because you will find this raw file, the retouching actions that we are going to use in today's video tutorials, and everything else. So first thing first, after you have downloaded the retouching actions, here you can go to the window, click here on the actions. You can click here on the 3 lines and click here that says load actions. Go to the folder that you have downloaded the retouching actions. So here we have the retouching actions that we have downloaded before. You can just click here on the retouching kit, for example, and click load, and boom, you will have them in the action section. So first thing first, what I'm going to do into this portrait is that I'm going to click here that says Retouching Kit 2024. So what we're going to do in today's video tutorial is that I'm going to show you how you can clean a portrait in a professional way. So in order to do that, I'm going to click here on the second step, which is FS, that means frequency separation. You can click here and click play. Wait until it's done, and what the frequency separation does is that it separates the color from the texture. So we need to work first in the color just a little bit, and after we are done with the color, I'm going to show you how you can clean the portrait in texture. So I'm just gonna close this action section here, and here we have the low, which is the color, and high as the texture. So I'm going to turn off the high or the texture, and here we have only the color. So I'm gonna click here that says Spot Healing Brush Tool. I'm gonna zoom in and I'm gonna start cleaning this portrait. So as I said, we are going to work just a little on the color because we don't have that much information, because the most information is in the texture. So as you can see, before and after what I've done so far in the color layer. So right now I'm gonna click here on the mixer brush and I'm gonna work just a little more in the color layer. So here we have the settings for the mixer brush, and I'm gonna start mixing the skin tones here, for example in the forehead, just a little, not that much, because we don't want to overdo this process. Just like this. So here's the before and after what we've done in the color layer. As you can see, before and after with the texture that is on, as you can see, that is looking okay. But we need to work just a little more here on the color section, because once that we are done here, we are going to go to clean the portrait. As I said in the beginning, this is a professional way how you can clean a portrait. So we need this because the portrait was looking really good, and a huge thanks to the guy who has provided the raw file. The photo resource is the Detty Studio. I don't know who is the photographer, but once that I know who is the photographer, I will put the link in the description, because we have to give a shout out to him for providing us with these amazing raw files. So here's the before and after what we've done so far. And as you can see in the color, and now that we are done cleaning in the color layer, we need to go to the high, which is the texture, and click here on the clone stamp tool, and make sure that opacity and flow is 100%, and make sure that it says the current layer, because we don't want anything beyond the under the texture layers. For example, if you click here on the all layers, when we copy paste here, as you can see, it will copy and paste the color too. So make sure that sample says only current layer, which is the high copy or the texture layer. So we need to zoom in as much as we need it, of course, and we need to copy paste the texture as near as possible. For example, you need to click Alt keyboard, hold it, and just click, release the Alt keyboard, and just paste to paint. So make sure that you hold Alt keyboard just like this, click where you want to copy the texture, and release the Alt keyboard and just paint to paste. So as you can see, we need to copy paste as near as possible, because for example, if you copy the texture here and you paste it here, as you can see, it will create a bad texture or a fake texture and it will not look that good. So as I said, make sure that you copy paste as near as possible in order that our texture to remain as professional as possible. So here we have a before and after what we've done so far with the frequency separation, and I think that is looking great. Now I'm going to duplicate the high copy, just drag and drop this to the plus, and here we have another copy of the texture. So I'm gonna click here on the filter, go to the camera raw, because I'm gonna add some grain to the texture. So here we have the zoom in of the texture, and here we have the FX, and I'm just gonna increase the grain until I see some grain into the texture, and I think that is looking okay. I'm just gonna put 20 and click OK. So let's zoom in, and here we have a before and after of the texture, which is looking okay, but we don't want that in the entire portrait. So I'm gonna click here a layer mask, invert this from white into black, and click B for brush. Make sure that you have a white brush selected and make sure that opacity and flow is 100%. And I'm just going to paint with a default brush in the places where I think that we need to put more grain to make it look like realistic. So just paint it over there, for example, in the parts where you think that we need to put more texture of the portrait, just like this. And because I think that in these areas we put more cleaning than we should. So here's a before and after, which is looking okay, but for example 100% is kind of way too much, so I'm gonna reduce it by 45 maybe. And here's a before and after, which is looking okay, and I think that is fine. But as you can see in the entire process, we need to work just a little more, but we're gonna keep coming again into the face, because right now we are going to work here on the backdrop or the background. So in order to do that, I'm gonna drag and drop the background to the plus again and click here that says remove background, and wait for the Photoshop to remove that background. So here's the before and after. As you can see, the background is removed. So I'm gonna click here on the background, and I'm gonna click here on the solid color, and I'm gonna choose this color for the backdrop, because I think that backdrop needs a lot of cleaning, and we don't want to do that right now because there's a lot of work. Go back, delete, yes, F-Sheen. So here's a before and after what we've done so far into the frequency separation cleaning, and I think that is looking okay, but we need to put a lot of work into this amazing portrait, because I want to make it as good as possible. So right now that we are done with the face clean, I think that the other step is that we need to clean the backdrop. So I'm just gonna click here and click that says merge group, and here's only a layer, and I'm gonna duplicate this to the plus, just drag and drop this to the plus, and click here that says remove background, and wait until the Photoshop removes the background for us. So here's the before and after, and right now I'm gonna copy the color that is in the backdrop with the eyedrop tool. So just click here and copy the color, click B for brush, and just paint over there where you want to clean the backdrop, just like this. So as you can see, a before and after. Let me just show you a before and after what we've done, and I think that is looking really good. And in case, for example, if you zoom in and you see that the lines are kind of too sharp, I'm gonna click here and I'm gonna click on the blur tool. So I'm gonna make them adjust just a little blurry, in case for that portrait to look as realistic as possible. So just paint it over there, just like this. So here's the before and after, and I think that is looking okay. Just like this. Make sure that all of the lines are kind of blurry, just like this. Oops. So here's before and after of the entire process, what we've done so far in today's video tutorial. And I think that is looking okay. So I'm just going to drag and drop this to the plus again. Make sure that you have shift keyboard pressed and just click here, right click and click here that says merge layers into a single one. So here's before and here's after what we've done so far. And now that we are done with the cleaning and the cleaning in the face, as you can see, I think that is time for some makeup details. So I'm gonna click here that says Makeup Artist Retouching Actions 2023. And the next thing that I'm going to do into this portrait is that I'm going to... Oh. So here we have a before and after what we've done so far into this portrait. And the next thing that I'm going to do into the portrait is that I'm going to click here on the actions. And here we have the Makeup Artist Retouching Actions 2023. And the next thing that I'm going to do into this portrait is that I'm going to put some dodge and burn. So I'm just going to click here, clean plus black and white help layer, and wait until this is done. So here we have the clean and black and white help layer. I'm just going to put this under that black and white help layer because we are going to need that later. And as I said, since we cleaned the portrait in the beginning, we don't need to clean that much right now. But for example, if you left something, you can just click here on the spot healing brush tool and just clean the portrait. Just like this, in case that, of course, if you need to clean just a little more. For example, the red veins in the eyes or something else, just like this. But as I said, you need to clean the portrait as good as possible in the first step, which was the frequency separation clean, and I think that is looking okay. Just merge them both layers into a single one. Now click here that says dodge and burn, just click play, wait until it's done, and here we have the dodge and burn. So right now I'm going to dodge or add some highlights into this portrait. Click B for brush with opacity by 10%. I'm just going to put some highlights into this portrait. The black and white help layer helps us to define the lights, highlights and shadows better, because for example, as you can see, we can see the highlights better in the black and white help layer. But right now I'm going to turn off that and just put some dodge or some highlights into this portrait. Now check a before and after what we've done, and I think that is looking okay. I'm gonna put some highlights inside the eyes because why not, and check a before and after, which is looking really great. Now click here on the burn, and I'm gonna add some kind of contours around the forehead, around the cheeks, just like this. Now check a before and after, which is looking absolutely better, but I think that 100% is kind of too much, so I'm going to reduce it by 55. Now check a before and after of the dodge and burn, which is looking really great. So I'm gonna merge both of them into a single layer. So here we have a before and after. And right now, for my opinion, I think that I'm gonna make some changes. For example, I'm gonna change the shape of the lips, kind of the shoulders. So I'm just gonna drag and drop this to the plus. Click here filter and click here that says Liquify. Wait until it's open. Zoom in, for example, where you want to work, and with a forward warp tool, I'm just gonna change the shape, for example, of the lips, just like this. Check, you can click keyboard P for a preview, or you can click here that says preview in case that you want to see what's going on, what are you doing into the Liquify section, sorry. I'm gonna zoom in, check a before and after, which is looking okay. Now, as I said, I'm gonna work just a little on the shoulder. I'm gonna increase them and make them look better. Just like this. So here's before and after, and I think that is looking okay. In case that you need to make some changes, for example, in the hair, you can always play around with the forward warp tool until you think that the portrait is looking okay for your preferences. So you have to zoom out every time that you're working here, because for example, you can make some bad changes and you can always go back, but it will take more time. So here's before and after, and I think that we are okay. Now check a before and after of this entire process, which is looking really great. And now that we are done with the liquify or the shape changes, as you can see before and after, I think that it's time for some makeup details. So I'm gonna click here that says, sorry, let me just check, eyes retouch, or maybe darken eyebrows, darken eyelashes, smoky eyes, mascara, and all that stuff we are going to do right now. But first thing first, what I'm going to do is that we need to click here on the eyes retouch, click play, click continue, click OK, and wait until it's done. So here we have a bunch of layers. The remove veins is to remove the veins inside of the eyes, just paint over there, and as you can see it will make them blurry, but since we cleaned the eyes before, I think that this one with 100% is kind of too much, so I'm going to reduce it like 65% and click here on the brightening. This one is for the white of the eyes, just like this. Make sure that you paint only inside the white of the eyes. Just like this. Oops, sorry. Now check it before and after in the zoom out, and I think that is looking okay, but 100% is way too much. So I'm gonna go by 45. Now click here on the eyeball brightening. This one is for the eyeballs. Make sure that opacity of the brush is 100% and just paint it over there. And as you can see, they're looking better. And we have the iris contour. This one is for the iris contours, but since this portrait is kind of too dark inside the eyes, we don't need that right now. So here's the before and after, which is looking okay. I'm going to merge both of them into a single layer. And for example, I'm gonna click here play on the darken eyebrows. If you want to darken the eyebrows, you can just click play and just paint over there. But I think that right now the eyebrows are looking okay. And here we have the darken eyelashes. Just click play, zoom in, and just paint it over there where you want to make the eyelashes darker, just like this. So here's the before and after, and I think that is looking okay. Merge both of them, and here we have the smoky eyes. And make sure that for example, in some actions we need to have only the background layer, so you need to merge both of them into a single one, and click here for the smoky eyes, click play, and for example you can just paint it over there. This one is great for the makeup artists. As you can see, we are going to put some shadows around there. And if you think that this one is kind of too much, you can always lower the opacity. For example, I'm gonna go by 15 and merge them. Here we have the mascara. Just click play and paint with a white brush, as always, in a darker layer mask, just like this. You can zoom out and check a before and after, and in case that you think that this kind of going on like too much, I think that we're going to reduce it by 20. And here we have a before and after, merge both of them. And now we are going to click here that says eyeshadows, pick a color. So just click play twice. And for example, you can zoom in. And as I said, these actions are really great for the makeup artist. For example, I'm gonna put some color on the makeup of the eyes, just like this. For example, I'm gonna click here on the purple and click B for brush and just paint it over there. Now, as you can see, I'm adding some purple color around the eyes, just like this. You can zoom out and check a before and after. And if you think that the purple is not your color, for example, you can go with a blue color, but depends on the preferences, just like this. But as you can see, the blue is not looking that good, so I'm gonna stick with a purple color. I'm gonna paint it just a little more. Now go back and check a before and after, which is looking okay, but I think that 100% is kind of too much, so I'm going to reduce it by 70% maybe, or 65. Now check a before and after, and I think that is okay. But one more thing here we are going to do is that, for example, I put the color here, and I think that we need to create a layer mask with a 100% black brush. We are just going to paint the color out, just like this. So here's before and here's an after, and I think it's okay. Now merge both of them into a single layer. Now that we are done with the eyeshadow color, we click here on the eyeshadow pop, click play, and just paint it over there. Let's just see what these actions do. As you can see, it's adding more color around the eye makeup. So here's before and here's an after. Here's before and here's an after. But absolutely 100% is way too much. So I think that I'm gonna go by 45, and I'm gonna merge both of them. So here's a before and after everything that we have done so far. And now that we are done with the eyeshadow pop and about the eye color and everything else, I think that I'm gonna click here that says cheeks and click play, and I'm gonna add some rosy color cheeks, just like this. Just paint it over there, and make sure that you don't do as this much that I did, but always, as I said, you can reduce the opacity. For example, I'm gonna go by 15, and the 15 is okay. Merge both of them. Now click here that says lipstick color and click play. Wait until it's done. You can zoom in, and here we have the lipstick colors, but as you can see, is nothing happening because the layer mask is black. So we need to create a selection around the lips. For example, I'm gonna create the selection with the pen tool, just like this. You can do it with a brush, but I want an accurate selection around the lips, so usually I do it with a pen tool. Just click here, right click, and click here that says make selection. Make sure the feather radius is 0, and just paint it with a white brush. And as you can see, nothing is going on because we need to click here on the color of the lipsticks, and here we have the lipstick colors, but you need to switch the blending mode from normal to soft light, and here's a before and after, and I think that is looking okay. You need to switch the blending mode from normal to multiply, and here we have a before and after. What's going on here? For example, you can even so here we have our lipstick color that we did, but you need to change the blending mode of the group from normal to multiply. And here we have a before and after. You can open the group and check the other lipstick colors that are inside that group. You can check them one by one and see if any of them fits your style. For example, you're gonna go from the bottom, the red color, kind of purple, and pink, lighter pink, darker pink. Here we have another purple, lighter pink. I don't know, but I think that I'm gonna go with this red color, which is looking really great into this portrait. But as you can see, the edges are way too sharp. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to double click. And as you can see, the properties will pop up. And what we need to do is that we need to increase the feather. So slide this into the right, just like this. And as you can see, that the line will be more softer. And I think that this one is looking okay. We can always check a before and after. And as you can see, the red color that is inside the lips is shown in the highlights too. So in case that we need to remove that color from the highlights, we need to double click here, and here we have the underlying layer. This one is the for highlights. Let me just slide this into the left, sorry, into the right, and this one is for the shadows. So if we want to remove the color from the shadows, we can click Alt keyboard and click this to divide the underlying layer and slide this into the right, sorry. And as you can see, the color will be removed from the shadows, but we don't want that. So I'm going to divide the highlights and just slide this into the left, just like this. And as you can see, the highlights will pop up. So here's a before and here's an after. So I'm going to slide this just a little more into the left and make that color stick only around the shadows. So here's a before and here's an after. But still, if you think that the color is kind of too much, we can always lower the opacity of the entire group, just like this. So here's before and after. Let me just zoom out. Here's before, here's an after. But I think that I'm going to reduce it just a little more. Or you can even change the color that is inside the group. For example, this one, or maybe this one. As I said in the beginning, depends on the preferences. But right now I'm between this lighter pink or this red color. I don't know, but I think that I'm gonna go with this lighter pink. And as you can see, a before and after, which is looking okay. And now that I'm done with the lipstick, I'm just gonna merge both of them into a single layer. So click here that says merge layers. So here's before and here's an after. And right now that we are done with frequency separation, cleaning, dodge and burn, and some makeup details here and there, I still want to clean just a little more around the lips with the frequency separation. So I'm gonna click here on the frequency separation again, click play. Wait until it's done, and I'm gonna go to the window, click here on paths, because we have the lips path right there. Click here and click here on the make selection, and here in the color or in the low frequency, I'm going to invert the selection by clicking Ctrl Shift and I, so the selection will be inverted. And I'm gonna click here on the mixer brush, and I'm gonna mix the skin tones around the lipstick because I want them to look as perfect as possible. So just like this, I am working on the color that skin color that is around the lips, just like this. So here is a before and after. As you can see, let me zoom out. Here's before and here's an after. But when we zoom out, as you can see, we still have the harsh lines. But for example, I'm gonna put the selection again, and I'm gonna work just a little more on that texture. So I'm gonna copy paste the texture around the lipsticks, the lips, sorry. The lipstick is the color. So because the mistakes that I'm doing is because that English is not my main language. So here's a before and after, and I think that 100% of the texture is kind of too much. So I'm going to reduce it just a little, and I think that we are fine right now. And here we have the line around the lips. So back again to the blur tool, you can just paint it over there and make them lines disappear just like this. And check it before and after. If you think that the lines are kind of too sharp again, you can make another selection here, just like this. You can you can just drag and drop the color to the plus, just like this. and make a selection with a laser tool and just make a selection around the lips and click here filter, click blur and click on the Gaussian blur until you see that the lines are disappeared. Click OK. Make sure that this layer that we have blurred the shape around the lips, make sure that is on a layer mask and switch to the black. Click B for brush and just paint it around the lips. So we see that the line is disappeared. So here's before and here's an after. So here's a before and after of this frequency separation thing that we did around the lips, and I think that is looking okay. Now I'm gonna merge both of them into a single one. So here's before and here's an after. And now that we are done with the retouch details and everything else, so here we have a before and after of everything that we have done into this portrait. And now that we're done with the retouch and everything else, I think that I'm gonna put some color grade into this portrait. So here we have the black tone actions, and I think that I'm gonna check them one by one until I find the best color grade for this portrait. And I think that this one is looking okay, but we need to reduce the opacity of the entire color grade group, but I'm gonna check these others. And I think that I'm gonna go back to the BTA 6, just like this. So here we have a before and after, which is kind of too much. So we have to reduce the opacity of the entire thing. And I think that 40 will be enough for this portrait. So here's before and here's an after. And now that I added the color grade, which is BTA 6, I'm gonna go back to this face contouring that says for color grade, click play, wait until it's done, just double click here and you can play around with the highlights and shadows of the portrait, just like this, and close this thing. And here we have a before and after of the contour, and here's the color grade, which is kind of too much again for my opinion, but I think that I'm gonna go by 35. Now check a before and after. Here's before and here's an after. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this long video tutorial. Don't forget to check all the links down in the description, because you will find the raw file, retouching actions, color grade actions, and everything else that you saw here in this video tutorial. Please don't forget to leave a comment down below. Let me know if I'm understandable or not. Let me know if you learned something from me or not, and see you in the next one. Peace.